burning incense too. The story you're about to hear is true, and it happened right here in Thailand. Cursed spirits. The word omens can be both good and bad. Good omens include promotions or great fortune, like winning the lottery. These omens manifest as a radiant face, a dignified appearance, and people being kind and affectionate wherever you go. You feel energetic and cheerful, as if you're overjoyed about something, though you don't yet know exactly what it is. Conversely, if life is about to bring misfortune, from job loss to death, the mind will be shaken, anxiety will prevail, and the face will be gloomy, as if coated with clay, devoid of any radiance. This signifies an ominous event. Those whose horoscopes are being analyzed must be extremely cautious. If there is a quiet and secluded place, they should go there immediately to observe religious precepts, meditate, and practice mindfulness. They should not delay or wait for the period of misfortune to pass, because pure morality possesses extraordinary sacred power and can ward off all dangers. As long as it's not past karma retaliating, rest assured that morality will act as a shield protecting against all harm. In the past, before Thailand was developed, cars and motorcycles were exorbitantly expensive, and there was no system of down payment and installment plans like today. Anyone wanting to buy a brand new car had to pay the full amount in cash at the car dealership. Most ordinary people with limited funds preferred to ride bicycles. In the past, during the World War era, bicycles cost at least 60 to 70 baht each, while mid-range ones were 30 to 40 baht. However, the most popular were those costing just over 20 baht. They were made of thick, durable steel and were popular among traders who used them to transport goods such as blocks of ice and baskets of vegetables. Cyclists with strong legs could even race against buses, because buses in the past didn't go very fast and would stop at any stop. Older cyclists used to race against buses and then brag about how two wheels could outrun four wheels. In those days, there was a group of close friends who always rode their bicycles together everywhere.
If you want to have a cycling speed contest, you'd go to the area around the equestrian statue of King Rama V, which is usually empty all the way to Sanam Luang on weekends.
That year, there were only about 10,000 cars in Bangkok. They were mostly parked at homes or in upscale restaurants like Chitpojana, and didn't roam freely on the streets. The leader of this bicycle gang is named Mr. Wei. The runner-up is Mr. Damrong. He's called Mr. Rong for short. The remaining person is Mr. Dech, Mr. Jum, with Mr. Snake. They called him Mr. Snake because he liked to lick his lips playfully like a snake. These 5 friends were high school teenagers. Back then, the school went up to grade 8. After graduating from grade 8, they could use their diplomas to apply for government jobs or work in companies and businesses, because the knowledge of students at that time was very solid. The character of these 5 friends is undeniably wicked, with neither good nor bad. They are ordinary people, harmless to anyone. Their lives, from childhood to adulthood, are mostly trivial and insignificant, with nothing worth mentioning. That is, until these 5 friends reached the 8th grade of high school, when the strange and noteworthy events began to unfold. That Saturday evening, the 5 friends had a bicycle race to determine the winner and loser. The 3 leading members would get free drinks, while the 2 trailing members had to split the bill. It turned out that Mr. Snake and Mr. Dech were lagging behind. Afterward, they cycled to the Nang Loing intersection near the Tewakam Osot Bridge, where there was a famous roast duck shop. They bought duck necks to use as snacks, and also bought some Kwang Thong whiskey, a cheaper brand that students could afford. I don't remember the exact price per bottle, but I know that year Mekong was 11 baht per bottle, so Kwang Thong was probably around 6 to 7 baht. Mr. Ngu and Mr. Dech were from well-off families and could easily afford it. After getting their liquor and snacks, they returned to sit and drink on the football field in front of the wall of Wat Makut temple. In the evenings, teenagers from the neighborhood like to play football. Food carts selling pickled guava, yentafo noodles, and grilled meatballs also set up stalls, selling to customers attending funeral services at the temple. The atmosphere is lively and pleasant. While drinking under the street lights, the four friends noticed the dullness on Dech's face. Teenagers, by nature, like to be outspoken and speak their mind. "Wei," the gang leader greeted Dech. "Where did you get all that sleep deprivation, Dech? Why is your face so dark, like you smeared it with clay?" Dech replied, "Hey, I eat well and sleep soundly. How could I be dark? If you don't believe me, ask these three. You'll think I'm making it up." The other three nodded, confirming Wei was telling the truth. Dech, however, rolled up his t-shirt and wiped his face to try and brighten it up, but no matter how much he wiped, his face remained dark. "Looks like this is bad. My grandfather said that anyone with a face as dark as clay will have unexpected misfortune. Tomorrow, tell your parents to take you to the temple to make merit and ward off bad luck immediately. Don't ignore it, or you might die." "Yeah, you're right. You have to be careful with your words. Don't get into trouble with anyone. When you're unlucky, even small things can easily become big problems. Trust me." The four friends showed genuine concern for their friend Dech, not just teasing him. Mr. Dech, having listened for so long, realized his throat was aching and excused himself, cycling home before anyone else. But this ominous sign came true sooner than expected. At dusk the next day, the three friends returned from school and had to change into black clothes to attend Mr. Dech's funeral, who live on the same street. When an emergency or tragedy occurs, news spreads rapidly by word of mouth among the villagers. The story goes that Mr. Dech was cycling past a bus when he suddenly lost control. Both the bike and Mr. Dech ended up under the bus, crushed into a pile of wreckage on the road, a gruesome sight. A gravedigger had to be called to collect the body and take it to the temple. Actually, Mr. Dech was a very skilled cyclist. It's unlikely he would have had a fatal accident. Everyone who heard the news said the same thing. The only close friend who didn't attend the funeral service for Dech was Rong, the vice leader of the gang. Lately, Rong had been hanging out with his friends from the same street, and he preferred hanging out with gangsters rather than studious kids. The three friends who went to the funeral knew this and didn't suspect anything. Later that night, Mr. Rong was thoroughly drunk and fell asleep as soon as his head hit the pillow. Normally, drunk people sleep soundly without dreaming, but Mr. Rong started dreaming just a few minutes after he closed his eyes. The events in the dream were like a TV drama. In the dream, Mr. Rong stood in the darkness of a temple. He was surrounded by pavilions where funeral services were being held. The undertakers had closed the doors of all the pavilions, and all the guests had gone home. The lights in the pavilions were off, with only the dim moonlight illuminating the hallways. The atmosphere was eerie. As he glanced around, wondering how he'd ended up in this terrifying place, a shadowy figure suddenly emerged from the darkness, taking 3 furious steps toward him. Mr. Fan felt as cold as if he were standing in the middle of a block of ice. The terrifying aura emanating from the shadowy figure was utterly frightening, making his legs tremble and causing him to barely stand. His mouth hung open, as if wanting to ask, "Who is that? Is there a problem?" A typical gangster way of asking to intimidate the other party. But the shock choked him, making it impossible to speak. The other person spoke up. "It's me. Don't you remember Dech, your friend?" "Dech? Dech?" He remembered that Dech had just died a few hours ago. Not even a night had passed. That meant this was Dech's funeral hall. He didn't know how he'd ended up here. "Wrong. You were my best friend. Why didn't you come to my funeral?" Don't misunderstand. To understand correctly, you have to be here with me. You are finally here. Don't dream of going back. Hey, don't play games, Dech."
Who said I was playing? I'm serious. Just wait and see. No sooner had he finished speaking than the vengeful ghost of Dech lunged forward and hugged Mr. Wrong's body tightly.
Being hugged by a vengeful ghost was a terrifying experience for him. Mr. Rong screamed, "Help!" at the top of his lungs, waking himself awake from the dream. He sat up in bed, his heart pounding like a drum. Out of the corner of his eye, he still saw the mysterious figure walking through the doorway, as if it were real, not a dream. He sat with his eyes wide open in the darkness, still trembling with fear. The hangover had completely worn off, but fear lingered, gripping him constantly. What he had seen in his dream remained vividly clear in his consciousness. By the time dawned the next day, Mr. Rong was so overwhelmed by fear that he fell ill with a high fever. 3 friends, who were initially suspicious of Mr. Rong's indifference towards their friend's funeral, didn't think much of it the previous night. However, when they didn't see Mr. Rong at school the next day, they became suspicious. After school that evening, they decided to go to Mr. Rong's house to investigate. After some questioning, it was revealed that the previous night, Mr. Rong had been severely assaulted by a vengeful ghost in his dream, causing him to fall ill with a high fever. Mr. Wei, the leader, spoke up disapprovingly. What kind of person is Dech? Not only did he die a horrible death alone, but he also dragged his friends down with him. That's right, replied Mr. Wei. Oh, that dream about him last night was terrifying. I'm so stressed out. Hey, calm down. We're going to light incense at the coffin and give Dech a good scolding for playing such a prank on you. A ghost like him won't learn his lesson unless he's cursed. Hey, don't joke around. This isn't the Dech we know anymore. Now he's a vengeful ghost. Mr. Rong was on the verge of death, but he couldn't help but worry about his friend who was still alive. The terrifying ghost he saw in his dream was ferocious and deadly, not some comical ghost that anyone could easily tease. Unfortunately, the 3 friends underestimated the ghost's power. That night, at the funeral, they followed through on their promise. Mr. Wei lit incense in front of the coffin and began cursing the vengeful spirit, unaware that he was playing with fire. This is because anyone who dies a violent death will harbor resentment from the brutality of their encounter, creating pent-up anger that cannot be released. It's like a ticking time bomb. If someone plays with just one match, the fuse will start working and the explosion will be deafening, meaning life will be taken in the face of the haunting spirits. Late that same night, Wei, the gang leader, had a terrifying encounter. In his dream, the scene was inside a temple, just like Rong's, but it was far more frightening. He found himself lying next to a corpse in a coffin. The vengeful ghost lay on its side, hugging him tightly, and whispered in his ear, "What did I ever do to you? Earlier this evening you lit incense and cursed me to pieces. If you're so angry and hateful, then I'll take you to live with me. Let's curse each other to our heart's content, okay? Oh, don't do anything crazy. I'm scared. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think it through. Why didn't I think carefully? Please, it's too late, you lousy friend. You're scared, but you'll get used to it eventually." In his dream, Mr. Wei was so terrified, he wanted to die to escape the horror. But ultimately, he found himself trapped in a coffin, clung tightly to by a malevolent ghost. He struggled with all his might until he jolted awake, sitting up to reflect on the dream with a pounding heart. No wonder Rong got such a harsh treatment that he lost his mind and fell ill with a high fever. Wei followed the same path. The next morning he was feverish, moaning and groaning, muttering incoherently about ghosts and spirits. His parents shook him, but he wouldn't wake up, remaining consumed by fear. 2 friends, Mr. Snake and Mr. Joom, seeing the situation escalating to a critical point and about to result in 2 more tragic deaths, couldn't wait any longer. They quickly went to tell the whole truth to Mr. Rong and Mr. Wei's parents. Wei's parents believe in the supernatural and curses, so they traveled to Wat Lom to invite a revered and powerful monk, skilled in high-level Buddhist magic, to bless their son with holy water and ward off evil spirits. After the monk left, Mr. Wei's condition improved significantly. He stopped hallucinating about frightening things. His fever subsided by evening. He was able to eat and drink, and the evil spirit's harassment was completely eradicated. At the third night of the funeral service, two friends, Mr. Nungu and Mr. Jum, lit incense and asked for forgiveness from the vengeful spirit on behalf of their friend and themselves. They asked that the spirit of Mr. Dech remember the kindness and friendship they shared when they cycled to school together, went home together, or went sightseeing together. They also asked that if any of their friend had spoken or done anything inappropriate due to their close friendship, he should not hold a grudge or resentment. The two friends made a solemn promise to offer alms and make merit for the ghost of Mr. Dech every Buddhist holy day for 1 year, hoping that the merit would help guide Mr. Dech to a better place in the afterlife. I offered my prayers to my ghostly friend and sat listening to the chanting, my heart pounding. I didn't know if the ghost was pleased with my words or not. Since we couldn't communicate face to face, I could only guess that the ghost had heard my words and was no longer angry. The next day, the two friends received bad news from Mr. Rong's family. They were modern-minded and had a somewhat tomboyish attitude, believing that Mr. Rong had fallen ill on his own due to the frequent changes in weather, and that it had nothing to do with any supernatural troubles. Late on the third night of the funeral service, a loud crash was heard as a chair fell in Mr. Rong's room. Family members opened the door and saw Mr. Rong had tied a rope to a roof beam, climbed onto a chair, put a noose around his neck, and kicked the chair over until the rope tightened around his neck, leaving him hanging dead in the middle of the bedroom. As soon as they saw it, the people in the house started screaming and shouting. The sound could be heard 3 or 8 houses away. By the time the parents woke up and came out to see what was happening, Mr. Rong had already died a violent death. After the death of their friend, the 3 friends were too afraid to attend the funeral. Their past experience of being severely tormented by Mr. Dech's ghost had left them terrified of him. Even when he was alive, Mr. Dech was quite the unpredictable type, and the thought of him taking the 3 friends to join his gang in the ghost world would cause trouble. So, they decided to simply perform merit-making ceremonies for him, but absolutely refused to attend the funeral. But Mr. Rong's ghost never haunted his friends. After he died, he simply vanished into thin air, much to the relief of the 3 friends. From then on, each of them developed a phobia of ghosts. They would refuse to attend any funeral, no matter what. These 3 friends are now quite old and nearing the end of their lives. If their grandchildren ask about ghosts, they will firmly assure them that ghosts exist and can both bring good and harm to humans. Those who don't believe in ghosts are free to do so, but they shouldn't disrespect them, otherwise they might experience events like those they've encountered before. Thank you for listening to Thai Local Tales. I'm Captain Piroj. Until our next journey together, take care, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode.